All right, folks, what is going on? Back with another episode of the First and Frame Rate Show. I am VF Baller. This is episode 518. We're going to talk a little bit about best player available. If you're looking at the title, it says BPA. Coach Smith and GM Terry Fontenot would not go best player available. And I'm going to give you a simple reason why they never have. So we're going to talk about the past two drafts that they had. And we're really going to look at, were these guys the best player available? And like I said, I don't think they were. And I'm going to let you know why this upcoming draft, they're not going to do it for a third time around. Third time is not the charm when it comes to best player available. Now, I know what you guys are probably thinking. Oh, this guy's talking crazy or whatever. Look, that doesn't mean it's a bad thing if they don't. These guys have drafted, for the most part, very well, outside of one person that we will talk about in a second, in my opinion. But overall, they've done pretty well, so we're going to get into all of that. If this is your first time here, welcome. I can be found on YouTube and Rumble. I am on Anchor, Stitcher, Spotify, Apple, and Google Podcasts. And like I said yesterday, it's been a phenomenal weekend, and it's trickling over to the week. So far, it's been great. Still in the process of getting things done on a daily basis, trying to move. Hopefully by the in the next month or a month and a half, we will be back in the state of Georgia, which my wife, she definitely wants to be back in the state of Georgia. I can go either way, but I do miss being there. I was there this past weekend, and that was actually fun to be back there. So I'm good with it either way. So we'll keep you updated on how all that's going. This is one of the reasons that if you're looking on YouTube and Rumble, this is why there's a mess back here, because we're in the process of getting things out of here. With that being said, enough of that talk. This show is also This show is also brought to you by BetUS. Click that link down in the description, put down $100, get 125% bet book bonus. That will help you put down wages on the NFC or AFC championship game. Also, there's some basketball games, some NBA games that are going kind of wild. You know, I haven't really mentioned the college basketball situation that's going on. Not necessarily a situation, but there are games being played over there. And you can put wages on those as well. Put money down on your favorite alma mater or your favorite team, and you see if you can double or even triple or even make a bigger prize with that wage. Also, like I said, MMA, esports, NFL, college basketball, NBA, all that stuff. You click that link down in the description. Put that money down. Look at the wages. Look at the money lines or whatever the case may be. Maybe you'll find something that you would really strive in, putting down that money over there. So it helps the channel as well. So thank you guys for the support. And let's get into this right here. Man, I'm going to tell you something about this regime right here. I'm actually, like I said in the last episode, I'm really impressed with what they've done. Terry Fontenot, Coach Arthur Smith, everybody else under the umbrella has been doing a pretty good job. They haven't done the best job, but they've done a pretty good job. Based on the hand that they were dealt, they've made the most of it. I think they've overachieved in both the years. And this year is going to be, this looks like it's going to be a year where they can take a bigger step. Because you have more money in the salary cap, like I said, and the draft is coming up where you have a handful of draft picks where you can make some things happen. So now we're going to look at what's going on with the last two drafts, and is this team capable of going into the draft going best player available? I don't think they're going to go best player available. That's why I got the title the way it is. But let's go back to 2021. Let's look at the draft picks that, you know, Coach Arthur Smith and Terry Fontenot put together, and let's see, were these guys the best player available? First pick, fourth pick of the draft. Everybody thought we should have went with Justin Fields. I had somebody say we should have went with Jamar Chase, even though that we didn't really think Jamar Chase was going to be this good. We knew he was going to be good, but dude is like on pace of being like, if not already, one of the top 3 receivers in the league. I mean, I knew he was going to be good, but Jesus Christ, Jamar Chase is really good. So the fourth pick right now, Jamar Chase looks really good back in 2021. But back then, no. But I don't even think Kyle Pitts was the best player available at the time. There's other people saying that he was the best player in the draft at the time. But this is the thing. Coach Arthur Smith is one of these guys that like to get big physical receivers, whether it be tight end or wide receiver. This is his mantra. There's not necessarily best player available for this team or the best player available in the draft. You can make the argument that he was, but regardless, if Kyle Pitts, which I don't think he'd have probably went as high as number 4, but let's say if he was at number 12 or 14 or 15 and we had that pick, Coach Arthur Smith was going to pick Kyle Pitts because that's the type of player that he wants. He wants a big physical tight end. That's the type of offense he runs. He runs big receivers with a nice running game to back it up. So you want guys to block downfield and also can catch. Kyle Pitts could do that. That was based on his philosophy. So I don't think that was best player available. Now, you go to Richie Grant. He was a second pick, round 2, pick number 8, in the 8th pick in the second round, 40th overall. I don't think he was the best player available, but we needed a safety. We just lost a couple of safeties that were, not up to par. I think, who was it that we lost at the time? Not Deku, but the other guy. Oh, man, he plays for the Bengals now. I can't remember. Was it Thomas? No, it wasn't Thomas Deku. I can't remember who it was. But I know he played for one of those teams out in the Pac-12. Whatever. It doesn't matter. Richie Grant was not the best player available at the time, but he turned out to be a very solid player. That was more of a need pick. And like I said, they scouted him. And some people was scouting him since his sophomore year. But at the same time, this is what we needed. This is what Arthur Smith wanted it. I don't think he was the best player available. Now, the 3rd round, we went picked in the 68th overall pick. We picked Jalen Mayfield. He was not the best player available at the time. I'm just going to leave it there. This is probably one of the situations where Coach Arthur Smith swung and missed. And I actually like this kid, but it just seemed like he never was able to, pan out. So, yeah, definitely not the best player available at the time. Darren Hall, round 4, 108 pick overall, cornerback out of San Diego State. Darren Hall has turned out to be a fairly solid player for the Falcons, but I don't think was the best player available at the time either. This was more of a need because we needed cornerbacks. He just was what it was, so I don't think it was a best player available situation. Drew Dahlman, the 114th pick in the 4th round. I don't think he was the best player available either. Maybe he was, but I don't think this was the reasoning behind that. We needed offensive line. That's one of the reasons why we got Jalen Mayfield as well. We needed some guys on the offensive line. This was more of a need. Now, you can make the case in the 5th round because at this time, you are basically looking at what's available and not necessarily a need. And you can make the pick in the 5th round for all the next 3 picks were probably best player available based on default, not necessarily because it was there was no other players out there that we had to get because best player available could be somebody that's not in the position, but you can make the case for it. I'm not sure. I can't remember, but I don't think these picks were because of best player available. Taquan Graham, 148th overall, definitely needed somebody to go to play next to you needed somebody to play next to Grady Jarrett. Ogundeji, we needed pass rush. So this was another pick that we needed. Avery Williams. Avery Williams turned out to be a guy that we was going to use for kickoff returns. He did play cornerback, but he turned out to be a running back. So this is another type of player that Coach Arthur Smith likes. Is not necessarily best player available, but Avery Williams definitely was one of those versatile players that could play all over the field. Offense and defensively, hell, even special teams. So this is one guy that was probably an overlooked player, or this was somebody that Coach Arthur Smith probably saw down the road, kind of similar to Tyler Algier, saw him late and knew that he was going to be a guy that could pick up, that could be pretty productive. I don't think he was productive as Tyler Algier, but you know what I'm trying to say. But those 3, you could probably say best player available at the time. And Frank Darby, was he the best player available at round 6 at number 187? I'm not sure. I don't think this was a best player available pick. We did need receivers after the whole situation with Julio Jones is gone. And we were pretty much uncertain with everybody else that was coming in at wide receiver in 2021. So you can make a case that this was a need as well. So outside of Graham, Ogundeji, and Williams, mostly Graham and Ogundeji, those probably were the best player available at the time, but this is not this is not necessarily the mantra that the GM and the coach was going at. everybody in 2021 was pretty much a need of some sort, or they were just not the best player available. I mean, like I said, best player available could easily be somebody that's just the best player, but it could flood the depth chart in another way. Like, you don't want to get like another offensive tackle when you already got two of them that's pretty solid. Just something like that. So it's something to really think about when it comes to that, but I don't think that was the case. You go jump to 2022, you look and see what's going on here. We start off at the first pick at number 8 was Drake London. It's funny how we had the 8th pick in the draft and we went 7 and 10. It's really weird. Go with Drake London. Was he the best player available? I'm not really sure. This right here was another need pick because we pretty much lost Calvin Ridley. We needed another big receiver. You can make the case that there was other players available at the time that could have been really, really good at the time. But I don't think that this was a pick because he was the best player available. This is once again going with what Arthur Smith needs, kind of similar to the Kyle Pitts situation where Kyle Pitts wanted to go when Kyle Pitts went number 4 and it fit the prototype that Coach Arthur Smith was trying to run. You also have to understand there are a lot of other big physical receivers that was bought in free agent wise, the Brian Edwards of the world, the Auden Tates of the world. You bought guys in that were like all 6'3", 6'4", or taller that could be really physical. So that was kind of like the running theme throughout the offseason from 2021 to 2022. Next pick, Arnold Ebiketie. I wonder, was this a best player available pick? You could make the case for that because Arnold Ebiketie was supposed to go in the first round. So was this a situation where we picked the best player available or we just definitely needed a pass rush? Because last year we picked up Taquan Graham and Ogundeji. I'm not saying those guys didn't pan out, but when you got Arnold Ebiketie in your draft and he's right there available, and I think they moved up to get him. I don't see where this was necessarily a bad. I'm not gonna say this wasn't the best player available. This could have been best player available, but we definitely needed a pass rush. So it was kind of like a tweener where we needed the pick. We needed him. So I think he turned out to be a pretty good pick overall because he's done pretty well this season. Troy Anderson definitely was not the best player available at the time. Dude is a freak of nature. This is one of the guys that we got from the Julio Jones trade. Definitely was not the best player available in my opinion. Nobody really knew who he was. Shout out to Coach Arthur Smith and Terry Fontenot looking at this guy, and he turned out to be probably our middle linebacker for the future. Dude's been playing very well. So for him being for what he is, he's everything that has been advertised. We have yet to see him throw the football yet because he did play quarterback, but I doubt if we'll see that. But absolutely phenomenal pick with Troy Anderson. Desmond Ridder, was he the best player available? This one might be a best player available situation, but we really needed a quarterback. We didn't know what the quarterback situation was going to be. We got rid of Matt Ryan. Matt Ryan was moved on to the Colts. We think at the time we had Marcus Mariota come in, so we needed somebody there because it was Mariota and Felipe Franks. So you wanted to say that this was probably the de facto best player available at the time with Desmond Ridder because not too many quarterbacks coming off the board after Kenny Pickett, and you had Malik Willis as well. And Brock Purdy came in this draft. I mean, how did that work out? You know what I'm saying? If we know what we know now, we would have got Brock Purdy. You know what I mean? But that's a whole nother story for another day. But Desmond Ridder was the best player in the draft. I mean, at the time, he was the best player available, probably so. And I think he's going to pan out very well. But it was more definitely still was a need for the Falcons. It wasn't necessarily we got him because he was the best player. Now, from the Matt Ryan trade, we ended up getting D'Angelo Malone from Western Kentucky. I'm not sure if he was the best player available, but he's definitely turned out to be a pretty good player. He's a homegrown kid from Cedar Grove High School, played very well with Western Kentucky, brought him into the Falcons, number 82 pick overall. And not necessarily saying he was the best one available. You could make the case, but I think it turned out to be a really, really good pickup. Round number 5, we jumped over and got Tyler Algier. You could make the case that this kid was the best player available in round 5. You could make that case because this guy turned out to be very, very good for the Falcons. Look like we got our running back number 1. I think that I don't know. I think this guy could be RB1 for the future. There's no reason, pretty much no reason to not think about that. Turn around and have over 1,000 yards in the season. You can make that case, but once again, was he a best player available pick? You could probably make the case for that. Justin Schaefer in round 6 and John Fitzpatrick in round 6 as well. I'm not sure. I don't think I got to look at the rest of the league. This is almost similar to the Taquan Graham and Ogundeji situation. Were these guys the best player available that you picked up? We needed more help on the offensive line. John Fitzpatrick turned out to be the tight end for us. I think he did more things on the special team side of things. He said that's one of the things he was willing to do and ready to do. So I think these two guys probably would end up being the best player available. I'm not sure if Justin Schaefer is still on the team. I could be wrong, but I that's something I may want to look up and see. But I'm not sure. But nevertheless, I think these last 2 picks were basically probably was the best player available. But like I said, it's not the mantra of what Coach Smith and Terry Fontenot is going with. So now, when we look at 2023, before I close, I'm going to get out of here. We looked at all the draft picks that we had so far the last 2 seasons. Do you think that this would be the first year that they turn around and actually go best player available? I don't think so. I think they're going to continue to go with the same mantra that they've been going the last 2 seasons. I don't think there's going to be a reason to switch things up. I think in the press conference, Coach Arthur Smith kind of addressed this and basically said that, look, we're going to go with players that we're going to think that's going to fit their scheme, and we're not going to pick somebody just because they're the best player available, because that best player available situation may be deep on our depth chart already. There's no reason to add anything. Kind of like the similar situation with Bijan Robinson. I can understand if they do go after him because you can't have enough running backs nowadays. I mean, I think a lot of teams now run 2, 3, 4 running back sets. But with that being said, I feel that with the way that Coach Arthur Smith likes to run things, they're going to pretty much go with a player that they need and fit their scheme. It seems like that's what they've been doing the last 2 years. Players that they need and fit their scheme. The best player available could very well be quarterback. Will they go with that quarterback? Does that quarterback fit their scheme? Is it a player that they need? Is Desmond Ridder that guy? If not, will they go quarterback? Same thing with pass rush. You got a handful of guys who can get to the quarterback, just haven't been doing it at a pretty good rate. Do you go with another pass rusher? I told you who I thought they was going to get. I think they can get Jalen Carter or the other guy from Clemson. I think that would fit their scheme, and it's definitely a need. What about cornerback? We need some guys in the secondary. Do you go ahead and get somebody who fit that scheme and is a player that you need? Or do you just go best player available no matter if they fit your scheme or not? It's just a lot to think about there. So that's pretty much where I stand at that. Let me know what you guys think, and I'm going to get out of here and get ready for the next episode on Wednesday. If you like this commentary, hit the like button, share this podcast, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Let me know what you guys think. Do you think that these guys go best player available? I don't think so. I just really don't. I think that they're going to continue to do what they do the last 2 years. We just did a rundown of all the draft picks that they had, even in some cases where it may look like it, but it was late in the draft. So you don't necessarily I don't look at that as going best player available, and that is their philosophy. I just don't see that. So let me know what you guys think. I can be found on YouTube and Rumble. I'm also on Anchor, Stitcher, Spotify, Apple, and Google Podcasts. You guys are awesome. Thank you guys for the support. This show is also brought to you by BetUS. Click that link down in the description. Put down $100, get 125% bet book bonus. And we will see you guys on the next one. All the links are down in the description if you want to support in various ways. And you guys take it easy, and you guys be blessed. Peace.